formally get started with the reading at the 10-minute mark of this video, 10 minutes into the future. And we'll practice meditation together. I'm not sure about the audio, if you can hear me okay or not. Looks like you can hear me okay. Great. So if you're already here, settling into this attention to practice, settling into your body, this moment, this space, settling in. The audio is very low, okay, so I should move it closer. Yeah, can I?
So I was going to say, the closer your microphone is to you, the less you hear all of this and the more you hear you. When the microphone is away from you, like when you're sitting on the front porch, it was across from you, the sound quality is off.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, good afternoon to everyone who's here. As usual, we'll get started around the 10-minute mark. Maybe the audio is a little bit better now. A little bit, seems like. Seems okay. It's certainly nice to be outside. Hello, Mei Li. Oh, Micah. Glad that you're here, Micah. Felix, James, Tio. Audio is much better. That's great. It's very good. So we'll be starting today with a reading, a Zen reading from the founder of Zen, Bodhidharma. And then we'll practice meditation together. So it shouldn't be too confusing, should be nice. Alright, Vidura 1, glad that you're here. Another 5 minutes till we formally begin. Hi there, Feng. tiny home app. We can make sure that we're comfortable. Any questions or comments before we get started today? Any sharing, any important sharing to take place? Alright, Trav Kids, may not have the time today. There's a saying that if you don't have the time to meditate for 15 minutes every day, you should meditate for 30 minutes every day. So you can consider that. Okay, kids. So just another minute or two before we begin. Before we begin. Well, Trav Kid, it's a good time to be able to listen because we're going to start with a reading. So otherwise you can only listen to the silence of meditation. Kind of strange insects out here biting flies. Alright, so let's begin. I'll just ring the bell here. So today we are going to begin with a reading from Bodhidharma, who is the founder of Zen, the original teacher of Zen. We'll also be hearing the planes go by. So this is, you can say this is quite direct teaching, very high level teaching. But in Zen, there are no levels. There is no higher or lower. So it's applicable, it's relevant for anyone who is taking up the position and beginning to walk the path of a meditator, or one who has the intention to wake up to see their true nature, in the same way that we wake up from a dream and realize that it is not real. We experienced it, but it's not real. It was only a dream, and then we wake up. In meditation on the path of seeing our true nature, we wake up to the fact that the reasons and the justifications for our anger, for our greediness, for our delusion, are just that, dreams, illusion. They are not real. The fixed ideas and concepts we have about ourselves, about others, the judgments, getting caught up in friction, in aversion, resistance, all of this is merely an illusion. So walking the path, getting involved in this kind of stuff is called stepping onto the way, the path of practice, the path of developing and seeing our mind, our nature. So if you're here to practice meditation, then you are in some way here for exactly that. And we will start today with a teaching, a reading that is attributed to Bodhidharma, who is the founder of Zen Buddhism. Many people have heard this word Zen. Well, this is a teaching, a writing from the founder of Zen, going back centuries and centuries and centuries ago. And it is formidably called the Wake Up Sermon. So as we listen to this, it's important to be with the body, to be with the breath, to be listening deeply, not from a place of figuring out or thinking through, but a place of presence, a place of embodiment and deep listening. And please do keep in mind that we are currently in a residential area, so we may hear all kinds of ghosts and beings and planes and my mother. Who knows what's going to be heard, what's going to come up as we're sitting here. But we come back to, we stay with this embodiment, this listening from the heart, being with the breath, being with the body. So let's begin with the Wake Up Sermon from the founder of Zen. The essence of the way is detachment, and the goal of those who practice is freedom from appearances. The original Buddhist teachings say detachment is enlightenment because it negates appearances. Buddhahood means awareness. Mortals whose minds are aware reach the way of enlightenment and are therefore called Buddhas. The sutras say, those who free themselves from all appearances are called Buddhas. The appearance of appearance as no appearance can't be seen visually, but can only be known by means of wisdom. This phrase here, the appearance of appearance as no appearance, cannot be seen visually, but can only be known by means of wisdom. So the inherent emptiness, the inherent illusion in what we experience, in what we believe in, the emptiness of it, cannot be seen visually, but can only be known by means of wisdom. Whoever hears and believes this teaching embarks on the great vehicle and leaves the three realms. The great vehicle is this way of ending suffering. The three realms are the realms of birth and death. The three realms of greed, anger, and delusion. So leaving the three realms of greed, anger, and delusion. To leave the three realms means to go from greed, anger, and delusion back to morality, meditation, and wisdom. Important to keep in mind here that this is what we practice. We're talking about the way, we're talking about meditation here. This is what that teaching is talking about. Not something that you figure out or you get a grasp on or you bring into your philosophy. This is your practice. This is your waking up moment to moment, breath by breath. The three realms are greed, anger, and delusion. To leave the three realms means to go from greed, anger, and delusion back to morality, meditation, and wisdom. Greed, anger, and delusion have no nature of their own. They depend on mortals. And anyone capable of reflection is bound to see that the nature of greed, anger, and delusion is the Buddha nature. So inherent to, underlying all greed, anger, and delusion is this Buddha nature, this fundamental substance, this primary position of awakening, of awareness, your Buddha nature, your awareness nature. Beyond greed, anger, and delusion, there is no other Buddha nature. So beyond the difficulties, confusions, stress, anger, negative thinking, lust that you experience in meditation, there is no Buddha nature beyond that. There is no enlightenment outside of that or separate from that. Whoever hears and believes this teaching embarks on the great vehicle and leaves the three realms. The three realms are greediness, anger, and delusion. To leave the three realms in this moment means to go from greed, anger, and delusion back to morality, meditation, and wisdom or insight. Greed, anger, and delusion have no nature of their own. They depend on mortals. And anyone capable of reflection is bound to see that the nature of greed, anger, and delusion is the Buddha nature. Beyond greediness, hatred, and negative thinking, or non-practical thinking, or any thinking, beyond that, there is no other Buddha nature. The sutras say, and the sutras are the original Buddhist teachings, the sutras say, Buddhas have only become Buddhas while living with the three poisons and nourishing themselves on the pure Dharma. So this is the path, and Buddhas is not some kind of strange thing. This is enlightenment. This is embodiment. This is peace. This is clarity. Those who walk with total clarity. Those whose steps are followed by fire and ash of compassion, patience, gentleness, and forgiveness. The sutras say Buddhas have only become Buddhas while living with the three poisons. So we only work, we only develop, we only grow with our meditation while living with these poisons of greediness, clinging, lust, attachment, negative thinking, scary things, pleasurable things that we're chasing around, hatred, anger, resistance. So Buddhas have only become Buddhas while living with the three poisons and nourishing themselves on the pure Dharma. The three poisons are greed, anger, and delusion. The great vehicle is the greatest of all vehicles. It is the conveyance of bodhisattvas, who use everything without using anything, and who travel all day without traveling. Such is the vehicle of enlightened ones. The sutras say, no vehicle is the vehicle of Buddhas. Whoever realizes that the six senses aren't real, and that the five aggregates, the five skandhas of mind, form, sensation, perception, volition, and consciousness are fictions. So whoever realizes that the six senses, this sensory experience that we're having, aren't real, in the same way that our dreams aren't real, even though we experience them, and that the five aggregates, these perceptions, this mind, this form, perception, consciousness, sensations, are fictions. So it is said here, whoever realizes that the six senses aren't real, that the five aggregates are fictions, that no such things can be located anywhere in the body, understands the language of Buddhas. The sutras say, the cave of the five aggregates is the hall of Zen. The opening of the inner eye is the door of the great vehicle. So we can say that the cave of these aggregates, these troubling fictions, this mind, good and bad and pleasure and chasing, these perceptions, this is like that, this is like this, wrapping up self-identification, form, this body that is decaying, it is a fiction. This body is a temporary happenstance. The sensations that come and go, the impulses that we have to do this or that, and our very consciousness itself. This cave of the five aggregates, these five aspects of reality, of our experience, are exactly the hall of Chan, the hall of Zen, the hall of the way, the cave of the path. We don't get rid of and we don't get to walk this path, to grow, to develop, to enlighten, to transform our suffering. This cave is exactly the place of our meditation, the place of our work. The cave of five aggregates is the hall of Zen. The opening of the inner eye is the door of the great vehicle. So when we turn inward, that inner eye of our naturally arising awareness, our awareness nature, what could be clearer? Not thinking about anything is Zen. Once you know this, walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, everything you do is Zen. To know that the mind is empty is to see the Buddha. The Buddha of the 10 directions have no mind. The Buddhas of the 10 directions have no mind. To see no mind is to see the Buddha. We can also transplant Zen with meditation. It's workable, so let's try to do that. Not thinking about anything is meditation. And that is not that thoughts do not arise, but it's that we are not adding on to, we are not indulging in, we are not complicating. Things are arising and passing away, but we are not thinking, we are not adding on to, we are not getting involved in grasping or rejecting. Not thinking about anything is meditation. Once you know this, walking, standing, sitting, or laying down, everything you do is meditation. To know that the mind is inherently empty is to see the Buddha. The Buddhas of the 10 directions have no mind. To see no mind is to see the Buddha. So to experience, to see, to relate to this state of no mind, no form, no emptiness. Form as emptiness, emptiness as form. To see this, to experience this, is to see the Buddha. To give up yourself without regret is the greatest charity. To transcend motion and stillness is the highest meditation. Mortals keep moving, more around. Enlightened ones stay still. But high meditation is both that and ones. People who reach such understanding free themselves from all appearances without effort and cure all illnesses without treatment. Such is the power of great Zen. So freedom from all appearances without effort. Being aware without any struggle. Curing all illnesses without treatment. So allowing the mind to settle totally and completely without effort. To abide in this natural state of being aware. Such is the power of great Zen. Using the mind to look for reality is delusion. Not using the mind to look for reality is awareness. Freeing oneself from words is liberation. Remaining unblemished by the dust of sensation is guarding the Dharma. Transcending life and death is leaving home. Not suffering another existence is reaching the way. Not creating delusions is enlightenment. Not engaging in ignorance is wisdom. No affliction is nirvana, and no appearance of the mind is the other shore. When you are deluded, this shore exists. When you wake up, it doesn't exist. Mortals stay on this shore, but those who discover the greatest of all vehicles stay on neither this shore nor the other shore. They are able to leave both this and that. Those who see the other shore as different from this shore don't understand Zen. Delusion means mortality, and awareness means Buddhahood. They are not the same, and they are not different. It is just that people distinguish delusion from awareness. When we are deluded, there is a world to escape. When we are aware, there is nothing to escape. In the light of the impartial Dharma, mortals look no different from sages. The sutras say that the impartial Dharma is something that mortals can't penetrate and sages can't practice. The impartial Dharma is only practiced by great bodhisattvas and Buddhas. To look on life as different from death, or on motion as different from stillness, is to be partial. To be impartial means to look on suffering as no different from nirvana, because the nature of both is emptiness. By imagining they're putting an end to suffering and entering nirvana, enlightened ones end up trapped by nirvana. But bodhisattvas know that suffering is essentially empty, and by remaining in emptiness, they remain in nirvana. Nirvana means no birth and no death. It is beyond birth and death and beyond nirvana. When the mind stops moving, it enters enlightenment. Nirvana is an empty mind. Where delusions don't exist, Buddhas reach nirvana. Where afflictions don't exist, bodhisattvas enter the place of enlightenment. So, beginning and ending with the sound of the bell, let's practice the Great Way together. Breath by breath, moment by moment, just being aware. whatever it is that comes up. Breathing and being aware. may all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May it be so. May it be so. May it be so. Any questions or sharing experience before we wrap up our group practice together? It's a time when the space is open for questions, or if you like to share your experience with meditation, you can type it out. Moving forward, we'll be having most of our sessions on Discord and be sharing them through YouTube, but I'm waiting for my computer to be fixed. And at that time, we'll start out. We will have more group practice, like a book club, book study, things like that. But for now, waiting for my computer to be fixed. In some sense, my experience, it's like no time passed at all. Here we are, back again at the beginning. The beginning meeting the end, and the end meeting the beginning. Anyone? Anything to share? So, Vidura 1, you practiced for 15 minutes. That's great. RSB, sharing this experience of sometimes I feel like I have to guide my thoughts out of my mind. Like I have to show them the exit in a way. That's an interesting experience. James, I'm glad that you had some peace, some extra peace. Even one moment of peace can dissolve eons of suffering. It's true. It's true. And Gold Chocobo, sharing, I had a few moments where I could simply observe without judgment. How wonderful. So, thank you everyone for attending. I will ring the bell, and we will be finito, finish. At the sound of the bell, continuing our journey alone together. Thank you so much for joining.